seen from the different people that been in front of the document, and it represents almost everything in the group. You've got people like Merrill, they just fun. I mean, they just have fun. And how many songs do you create? How many songs? I don't really know. But a lot, right? I mean, it's just fun. And Chuck and Nikki's numbers. I mean, if you get the idea that you have to have a lot of money in the bank in order for you to make the kind of money you pay for this, even if it's an extra $100 a month. Okay, Adam, I mean, this is young. And he takes my time. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, Jeff and Jim, nothing like that. I mean, I don't even have daytime. You know what I mean? This is the only watch I have. It's me to watch. That's the only watch I have. And, that's it. Back, I'm just going to tell you, I do not put a schedule together. I never do. Oh, I forgot you, because you're the schedule person. And I don't. And I don't even carry a daytime. I can show you the appointments in my phone. There's probably about 5. I just keep them up here. They're really stupid, but that's what I do. In fact, Jeff asked me to come today, and so I said, okay, put it in my mind, like I always do. And last week, we were talking, Evelyn and I, that's my wife, and she says, hey, we've got the graduation at 4, and then we're going to have a little party, and then we're going to do some things on Saturday. And I said, and I go, and she goes, well, we've got Jimmy graduating on Friday. And I go, I thought and she goes, what? And I go, yeah, I'm going to do something. And she goes, well, how are you going to do that? I thought, well, and so what happened was, I figured out, she booked the flights and so she booked the flights so that we had graduation at 4. Okay, that lasted until 6. Okay, then we I drove separately so I could drive to the airport and get to. I drove from Salt Lake City to Tucson last night. No, I'm kidding. But no, anyway, I got here at 11 o'clock and Jeff picked me up, and I'm here today, and I'm glad. And my daughter asked me the question 3 days ago, because she said, well, what about Saturday? And I said, oh, you're fine. You're going to Vegas. I paid for that, so you'll be fine. And your friends, so don't worry about me. You don't really want me around anyway. But anyway, she says, well, why do you, what are you doing tonight? I said, I'm going to go and talk to a group of people, send out cards. She goes, well, are you doing the whole thing on Saturday? I go, no, just about 20 minutes. She says, you mean you're going to, who's paying for this? And I go, I am. I'm not the band, but me going. She says, you mean you're going to spend the money, go to Tucson, Arizona, stay in a hotel, get up, listen to the people, and you're only going to talk for 20 minutes? And she goes, Dad, you taught me that's going to cost a lot more money, you know what I mean, than it's worth, isn't it? And I says, no. And the reason why I say that is because I really don't have to be here today. I really don't. I could have called Jeff at the beginning of the week when I screwed up my schedule, and I could have said, Jeff can't go.
That's what you're going to say.
And did I say that? No, I says, I'm going to work it out. And because this isn't about me, this is about you. And I've thought a lot about what I could say today in the short period of time to help you in your business. Because, you see, I started my business a long time ago. I started in October, the first week of October of 2004. Because I don't even know the date it was. I just know it was the first week. I have no idea. I just know I signed up the first week in October of 2004. So I started my business a long time ago. And I got started with my business, and I helped some other people get started. And I can stop now, and I never have to work again in my business. I can go live on a mountain and never talk to anybody again, never send another card, and myself and my family are taken care of for the rest of my life. I don't have to do a thing. I mean, literally, I don't have to do another walkthrough. I don't have to talk to another person. I don't have to do any of that now. Nothing. I don't have to, because I started a long time ago. You see, network marketing isn't about what you finish, it's what you start. And if you start well, guess what happens? You finish well. Now, a lot of people, who knows who I sponsored? Just a couple people. Raise your hand. Who? Just say it out loud. Jordan. Okay, so I'm known. I'll go to someone and they'll go, oh, DemarrZimmerman, didn't you sponsor Jordan? You know, and I hear that all the time. I mean, I'm sick of Jordan. I'm not, really not. And I'm being facetious, I am not. I'm very blessed. But I want to write something up here real quick. Because it's, you know, the reality, Jordan says this all the time. There's about 4 legs that I make most of my money in. Okay, 90% of the income that comes through 4 legs. Now, a lot of you don't know, I signed up Jimmy Dick. Okay, I signed up another guy named Brian McClure. I signed up, before Jordan, I signed up over 20 people. Okay, I signed up Jordan in 2004. In fact, Jordan even told me he probably wasn't going to do the business. I mean, he said, I'm not dumb though, Demar. He goes, I'm going to be a distributor, and there's probably going to be some people, and you know, that will sign up. But no, I know you laugh, but you say, yeah, but oh, Demar. Well, no, Jordan was not. He was doing another network marketing deal. In fact, he was doing 2 of them. And he was, and sending out cards was not a high priority. Okay? In fact, I didn't have high hopes for Jordan. There were some other people I'd signed up that I thought were going to do 10 times better, that were bigger networkers than Jordan was. And some of them, their names I can say, and some of them I won't say. But I signed up some huge people, and it wasn't because I was a huge network marketer. It's because I didn't have no fear. I didn't care what they thought of me. I was going to call them anyway. Okay? But about 4 of my legs of the people that signed up create the revenue stream that I've got coming in today. And I want to write this number down. Can you see that? Huh? Okay. No, not divided. Okay, those are 2 different. Okay. 43% of my revenue comes from Jordan's group. Okay, and 57% comes from the other people that I signed up. Okay, now you'd think it would be the other way around. You'd think it'd be a lot different. See, Jordan came in when I was a distributor. Okay, so this, now, how many people do you think there's in my, because see, I only make 7 levels off of that group. That's all. Okay, so how many people do you think that, I mean, I have over 70,000 people in my group. How much money do you think I make off of this leg? 43% of my income. And I'm not going to tell you how much that is. Okay, because someone's filming it, and I don't want it all over the internet. Okay, but the reality is it's a lot of money. But how many people do you think this represents right here? If it's only my 7 levels.
50,000.
Huh?
50,000.
No, remember it cuts off at 7 levels.
15,000.
No, not 15,000. Okay.
5.
Up to about a year ago, guess how many it was?
3,500.
About 5,000 people. Okay? So, my point here is I want you to understand you don't have to have 70,000 or 60,000 or 10,000 to create significant income. My sponsor sponsored several people. His name's Dave Pollard, and he's a senior manager, okay? And 99% of his income comes from his 7 levels. You see, the mother lode in our business is the residual plan. It's not the upfront money, and it's when you start your business. You don't know the duds from the studs. You don't know who's going to do it and who's not. Jordan Adler was not a high priority when I first got going because I didn't think he was going to do that much. But yet he represents how much of my income? Okay, it's a lot of money. Okay, significantly. And how many people, though, represents that? Now, that was a year ago. I'm sure it's a lot more than now. But that was a year ago. Does that make sense? And guess what's happening? This used to be 80% of my income. Okay, what's happening? Okay, because this is part of my leadership bonuses and the residuals that come off of that. Does that make sense? Okay, and there's some leaders that are starting to really, really develop in some of my other levels. Is there an eraser for that, or do we not? Oh, okay. Now, why do I tell you that? I'm not a superstar. Okay, I'm a hick from Utah who was living in New Mexico at the time that send-out cards got started, or when I got started in send-out cards. I was broke. I was making very good money, but I had made some very, very, very bad financial decisions. And so I had to move away from home. Well, I got kicked out. But no, I had to move away from home so that I could get a job so I could make enough money to support my family. I had 4 kids. I also had to, my wife had to go back to work so that we had some stability as well. So we were both working. Anybody ever felt that way before, where you're just trying to, you had more month than you had money? That's where I was. I mean, that's exactly where I was. And so I was hungry. I mean, I wasn't hungry, I was hungry. I needed some change. And so that's what I did. And I had some network marketing experience before. I was taught by some phenomenal people. Some phenomenal people. And one of the things that I learned, and you heard it today, it's kind of a common thread. If you listen to everybody, there's some common threads you can get. One of them was consistency. I knew I didn't have to be great. I knew I didn't have to be good. And I knew I could be bad. But if I did it long enough, somebody was going to say yes. I knew that. I knew I didn't have to be a good network marketer. And I knew I didn't have to be a good salesperson. But I knew if I asked the questions long enough, somebody was going to say yes. Now, you know who I learned that from? Jim Rohn. See, I listened to that. And he said that one time. He said, where do you start? See, most everything I say is not original. Pleasurism is my middle name. I mean, I just learned it from someone else. But Jim Rohn, he said this. He says, where do you start? That was the question. How do you start? Where do you start? He said, throw a rock up in the air, where it lands, that's where you start. And I've been doing that ever since. So I just started. I just threw a rock up and it landed there. There's a person there, and I says, you wouldn't want to make any money, would you? And they said, no. So I went on to the next one. Okay, you see what I'm saying? You can do that. And where did I learn that from? Jim Rohn. Yep. Okay, he was one of my mentors. Because he has a great understanding of network marketing. And so I learned that. And so I just did what he told me to do, and I started doing it. And I had a great mentor named Rich Cletty. He taught me that it's as easy to get 100 people in 6 months as it is in 2 years. He says it's just as easy. You just have to talk to more people, but it's just as easy. In fact, he says it's easier to do that than it is to do it for 2 years. Because the longer you do the business and you do a little bit, the harder it gets to motivate yourself. So I said, I'm going to just start doing it. I'm going to do it fast. He used to say it this way. I would rather, or he says there's 2 ways to do this business. Fast or not at all. Now that's how you say it. I don't believe that. It's faster or faster. Those are the 2 ways I think you can do the business. He taught me another effect. A real interesting thing. He taught me a couple of things that are really interesting. It's called this. Okay, now what does this look like? Okay, now this is not the ocean. Okay, that's not the ocean. Huh? That's a roller coaster. He called it the roller coaster effect. Okay, I'm not as good as Adam. Okay, but that's a roller coaster effect. He says when you start your business, you're going to start someone off, and even you're going to be this way. You're going to be really excited, you're going to peak, and then you're going to start not doing it. And then what's going to happen? You're going to get a card, or you're going to see someone, and then you're going to start doing it again, and then what's going to happen? He says it's just a cycle of how you build your business. And he says, so if you're really serious about the business, get someone started and understand that there are going to be peaks and valleys in their journey. Okay? And he says, what happens is that you want to work with someone when they're from here to here. That's where you want to build your business. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to, you don't like these people, but from here to here, those people aren't going to work the business. Keep in contact with them, you know, that kind of stuff. He used to call it the 45-second call. He says, call people and just talk to them 45 seconds and ask them this question. How's your business doing? Start complaining. No, it's not doing good.
It's like, oh, had a bad day today and tomorrow's going to be worse.
Yeah, and what happens, they usually don't talk about send-out cards, so their life's in the way. Yeah. And when they start doing that, that's why we call it a 45-second call. They called it that. He said, okay, great. Hey, I got a phone call coming in. Hey, but I'll talk to you soon. And they move on to the next one because what he was trying to do is in 45 seconds, he was trying to find out if that person was here or here. And that's what my mentor taught me. Now what he taught me is you're going to start someone else. And they're going to start this process. Okay? And then you're going to start, so by the way, my mentor, he sponsored me in another program, and he was the #2 money earner in the company, and he taught me these things. He says, then you're going to start someone else. They're going to be like this. And then you're going to start someone like this, and they're flatline. Okay, and then you're going to start someone else. You see what's happening here? Okay, and then you're going to start someone else, and then what's going to happen? And then what will happen is that you're going to have people, as you start to build, that are always up here, or that are up there in their cycle, and you're going to have people that are down here. And he says, just work with the people that are up here. And they'll go down just like you do, and then when they start coming up again, that's what you work with. And you just keep working with it, and you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. Call it the roller coaster effect. Yeah, that's exactly. And so that's how he taught me to sponsor, so I started doing it. And I knew, see, I already knew that these people were going to do that. So I didn't get discouraged when someone didn't do it. I didn't get discouraged. He also taught me about the no principle. More people are going to say no than yes. Period. You know, and so when I went and talked to my first person, and I said, hey, you want to do this? And that person said, no, I don't like it. In fact, I don't even like you. And I said, well, Mom. Yes, I stole that too. But you see what I'm saying? He also told me that there's going to be people out there, lots of them, that don't think they know anybody. So the #1 thing you can get someone to do is get them to make a list. And the faster you get them to make a list, the faster they'll realize that they know. And don't stick with a list of 10 or 20. You see, he taught me this concept that if you have someone build a list, help them keep building that list, growing that list. Because if you help someone start a list that's only 10, they talk to 3, they're scared to death because now they're going, oh no, I only have 7 left. You see what I mean? So you help them build a list. List is your inventory. And so you just continue to help them build their list. Okay? So those are some fundamental things that I learned. Let me see if I can. I'm not used to having a mic in my hand and doing it at the same time. I'm not, what do you call it? Multitask. Okay, I'm going to show you a ratio that I learned that's actually really, 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 really interesting. Here's the ratio. Okay, and you've probably seen this before. I'm going to do 80, 20. I'm going to do 20, 80. And then I'm going to do 20, 20, and that's not your eyesight. And 80, 80. Okay? And here's a reality. Okay, you just need to understand this. 20%, and this is life. Okay, 20% of the people in your organization are only going to bring in, 80% of the people in your organization are only going to bring in 20% of the distributors. Okay, 20% of your distributors. Now, it starts out maybe 0, you know what I mean? And then it grows as you get to what's called the law of large numbers. So as your organization gets big enough, and it's usually about 100 to 200 people in your organization, then you start getting closer to these numbers. It's called the 20-80 rule. Okay, now the 20-80 rule is 20% of the people are going to do 80% of the sponsoring. Now what are these two figures here? These are the customer rules. Okay? 20% of your distributors are doing what? They're sponsoring, and they're bringing in, they're building a business of leverage, of finding other network marketers, or people that want to do this. Well, that means that they're not getting as many customers. Okay, so this is a natural equilibrium process. So what's happening is you got 20% of the people are getting 20% of your customer base. Where do we make our money? In the volume. So this is just getting bodies to start leveraging. This starts the power of building business, our customers. Now, 80% of your people who will only do 20% of the sponsoring will gather 80% of the customers. Okay? Now, what did send out cards just do? What was happening is that 80% of the people were getting 20% and 20% were getting 80% of the distributors, but there wasn't a lot of customer gathering going on. Now, what did send out cards just do? They created it so that this is called, by the way, this is called the masses principle. And don't worry, I didn't make that up. That's other people that are smarter than me.